January, as I talked about on the last episode, January is a dreary fucking it's a dreary fucking month, people. It really fucking is. Uh, and I got totally excited. I don't know why I miscounted because I thought last week was the last movie of January, but I was wrong. I was wrong. And then it hit me. I was like, oh fuck, I still got one more January movie to get through. Shit, damn it. Uh, January. If you're a movie lover, it's a rough month to get through. It is a rough month to get through. Um, yeah, because we had The Grudge. We had. I can't even fucking remember. It was just so fucking forgettable. What was it? I don't know. But then at least we had The Gentleman. The Gentleman, the Guy Ritchie film. That movie was a ton of fun. Check out for my review. You want to check out my review of it? I have that review up on the P.O. Vincent YouTube channel if you'd like to check it out. Um, but now we come to the final movie. The final movie, starring an actress that you don't see very much of nowadays. But she's trying to make a comeback with this one. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about Blake Lively's The Rhythm Section. This movie is, like I just said, stars Blake Lively and is directed by Reed Morano, who usually is someone who most of her credits is for cinematography. She's only done a few other directing credits, but regardless, cinematography. So at least the visuals should be great. It's also a movie has Jude Law and Sterling K. Brown, so you got some good actors in this film. The plot of the movie is a woman loses her entire family in a plane crash and discovers that it was actually a terrorist attack. And then she starts to meet people from, the basically the spy world or people involved in that kind of world. And she seeks revenge against the terrorists that killed her family. Something I want to bring up about this one before we get into the actual review is one of the producers on the film is Barbara Broccoli, a very famous producer. And if you know who she is, and you know how kind of cool that is. If you don't know, she is the daughter of Albert R. Broccoli, who started the James Bond movie franchise. And since he passed away many years ago, she has been keeping up the franchise as a producer and whatnot. And she actually, in an interview recently, and I bring this up because it does connected to this film. Before we get, like I said, I just want to go over this. I think it's really interesting. Recently, in an interview, and I posted the article to the P.O. Within Facebook and Twitter. It was from like a week or two ago. She was asked whether or not James Bond should ever be a woman or have his gender change. Her position was that James Bond should remain a man. That's the type of character James Bond is, and that women should not take over the role because she thinks women are more interesting than that to just take over, already, dominantly male character, and that we should be creating new, strong characters for women, given their own new characters to do so. And she's putting her money where her mouth is because she is a producer on this film, because we have a female lead who is kind of like, she's part spy, part assassin, part just somebody who wants revenge. Either way, she's killing people. So, yeah, so kudos to Barbara Broccoli for, not just saying that stuff, but actually trying to put together films that give us new female leads like this. So let's get into the film. So we're going to start with Blake Lively, who, I'll be honest, Blake Lively's one of those people that she was on Gossip Girl, and that was not a show that I watched, so I haven't really seen a lot of her work. I know she's been in a few other films, but honestly, I have not really seen. The only other thing I remember was the Green Lantern movie. She was in that, which I think that's how she met her husband, Ryan Reynolds. I can't remember if they knew each other beforehand. But I'm not going to hold Green Lantern against her. That's like I don't hold Green Lantern against anybody else in that film. Ryan Reynolds, he's doing fine because thanks to Deadpool. Hell, Taika Waititi, who we've talked about before in the show, director of What We Do in the Shadows, Thor Ragnarok, and the recently Academy Award nominated Jojo Rabbit. He was in that film too. He played Ryan Reynolds' best buddy. So, yeah, you can come out of that film and still have a career, apparently. But anyway, back to the movie process. So Blake Lively, I thought her acting in this movie was pretty good. Nothing that really made me go stand out. Because one of the problems that The thing about her character is that since the death of her family, she's fallen into a severe depression. Her life is hell. She's I won't say what, but she's developed certain addictions, and she's kind of taken on a lifestyle just that is not was not everybody would think as respectable or I don't know, self-affirming, I guess you could say. But basically, she's fallen on hard times. Her depression has sunk her down so low. And there are moments in the film where I think she does portray that pretty well. Another thing is Blake Lively, as far as I know, she is not British, but she does, have a British accent in this film. And, I think it does well enough. I think it may have heard better, but I don't think it was actually that bad. Yeah, so Blake Lively in this film, I really don't have too much in terms of performance. I thought she did a pretty good job trying to portray someone who's depressed. And in the moments in the movie where the action is happening, where she's in a fight or like guns are going off, I did generally believe her that she was fucking terrified because she wasn't trained by the CIA. She's a normal person who jumps into this world to get revenge. So she's not like she's not John Wick in this damn thing. She's doing does pretty well, I guess. Next, I will move on to Jude Law, who is only in the movie. He doesn't really have a name. In fact, I'm looking at the IMDb right now, and his character does not have a name. He basically plays I won't say what organization he's with, but he basically plays the spy that Blake Lively goes to help her become a killer slash assassin slash spy herself, so she can be ready to kill the terrorists that killed her family. He's good. I don't know. He's fine. I don't know. His character is fine. Once again, I don't think it's Jude Law's fault. He's just kind of the standard, like, oh, you want to be. He's the standard hard ass mentor figure. He's just gonna be tough on you. I don't think there's anything particularly memorable about the character. There's this one moment in the film where I'll say without spoiling, a mistake has been made that affects Jude Law's character, and I really don't believe that it affects him. He just kind of takes it too well. I mean, his character is supposed to be, I guess, a little cold, a little emotionally devoid due to the kind of life he's led, but I don't know. I just felt a little bit lacking. And then you got Sterling K. Brown in the movie, and I can't really go into his character too much. All I can say is that he becomes pretty important about halfway through the film, which felt like a little late for his character to be entering the picture. Well, even Jude Law's character felt a little, not as late as Sterling K. Brown's character, but they both felt like it felt like it took a little too long to get to Jude Law's character. And that's a problem with the movie. I feel like the first act, maybe the half of the film, there's some dragging issues where I feel like there's certain events that I felt like the script could have been changed up a bit, that we could have skipped certain things, moved on, because there's like a secondary motivation for Blake Lively to find these terrorists, and I don't think the secondary motivation was necessary. Her family, she lost her parents, both her mom and dad, and her little brother and sister. Lost them all. That's plenty of fucking motivation, ladies and gentlemen. And yet it happened. This extra motivation that I'm speaking of. So yeah, I felt the movie could have gotten going a little bit quicker, and I think that's partially due to some of the advertising that has been around this film. The advertising makes it look like a little more action-packed than it is. And don't get me wrong, there are action sequences in the film, but not as much as you would think based on some of the commercials, the trailers, ads, whatever you've seen. But yeah, it's not as much of an action film as the studio may have wanted to portray it as. Another part of the film is because there's just like these long moments where they're just taking too long with things. I feel like there are moments in the film that can feel very boring, and that goes back to the fact that I feel it kind of takes too long in that first third. It seems like it's building up a little too much. I don't know. It became a problem for me. Another problem is, and I feel weird saying this because, as I said, the director Reed Morano. If you look at her credits on IMDb, it's mostly cinematography. She has done some directing, little things here and there, but I think this is her first really big picture. And I don't know, there's certain shots. Oh, I can't say without once again. Like I don't want to go. There's this one action sequence where it's a kind of action sequence we see in every action movie, mostly every action movie. Most action films have this one sequence in it. I don't want to say in case you're still going to see the movie, regardless of my opinion, but they placed the camera in a certain way where I get what they were going for. It just didn't feel like it was. They pulled it off. It just is like it wasted the positioning of the camera, wasted the action sequence. Like it just didn't come off as like heart pounding and in your face and exciting and oh my god that they were kind of going for. I think it was definitely a mistake. And there was other moments in the film where like I was having trouble understanding what the hell was going on. Certain fight scenes, things like that. It was a lot of trouble. And we get to a point in the film about, I want to say, the end of the second act where Blake Lively's character, she's hip deep in like all this stuff, and she's trying to killing and whatnot, and she's still having these like hesitations. And once again, I get it. She's not really a former spy, CIA, MI6, KGB. I don't know. I'm pulling them all on my butt right now. But it comes a point in the film where it's like, hey, you doing this or what's going on? She's still having all these hesitations, and it just kind of got bothersome. You feel like at this point, like her character should be past this already. And finally, like I said, the character is driven by the death of her family. And in the film, we see a lot of her having like dreams or flashbacks to when her family was still alive. And it happens too much. There's too many dreams / flashbacks to her family when she was with them when they were alive. And it just like, it's like we and it continues throughout the film. It kind of dissipates finally in the third act, but it's like, yeah, we get it. Her family is dead, and she's haunted by that memory. Haunted by the fact, she has got like survivor's guilt. Basically, she feels like she should be dead too. It's never said, but it's hinted at enough in the film. And it's just like, we get it. Her family's dead. She misses them. You don't need to keep doing these flashbacks. It seems unnecessary at this point. And after a while, some of the flashbacks are really just focused on her mother, and I'm not sure why. Maybe I missed something. Like I love my mom, but she lost her mom, her dad, her brother and sister, all these people, and like as the film goes on, there seems to be more of a focus on her mother, and I'm not exactly sure why. Perhaps I missed something. Perhaps there was a piece of dialogue I missed. I don't know. There was a couple of guys behind me talking a little bit, but they weren't talking so loud where they were talking over the movie. I don't know. I feel like I'm missing something because like I don't know why it's so focused on her mom. Like after a while, I was like, you just miss your mom? Do you not care about your dad and your siblings here? So yeah, that got confusing and that got annoying. It was like, we get it. She's fucking killing people at this point. We get what her motivation is. You don't have to keep putting it out there, movie. Yeah, so the rhythm section. Do I recommend it or do I not recommend it? Unfortunately, I'm not going to recommend the rhythm section. It's not horrible. I don't think it's a horrible film. I've seen some reviews online. Some reviews are pretty bad, and to a degree, I get it. But it never angered me. It never angered me. It did bore me at sometimes. Like I said, there's some sections of the movie where I think like the pacing is off, and how when they present certain characters, and other times it was like, oh wait, hold on, this person and that person, but really this person and that person, they did this and that. I was like, I'm confused. So this person now, okay, you know what I mean? Like I got confused as to who's doing what right now. So yeah, it's not an infuriating film. It's not mean or nasty, but it misses the mark. I see what it's going for. It's trying to show a more human, vulnerable action hero, and I'm fine with that. I am totally fine with seeing our action heroes get like messed up. Like I'm as I said before many times on the show, I'm a big fan of the John Wick movies. They're great, and one of the things that make make the John Wick movies and the character and great is, yeah, John Wick, he takes out people left and right, but he gets messed up along the way, and so does this character, Blake Lively's character, whose name is Stephanie. She gets messed up along the way. She gets injured, and I'm fine with that. And I'm also fine with a character being emotionally vulnerable or being hesitant, especially when they're thrown into a world that they're unfamiliar with. You're saying that they want to kill someone, but when the time comes, it's like they hesitate because, well, you're not a killer. It's not your lifestyle. So I can be down with that, but unfortunately, the movie just doesn't like it. I don't know. It gets a little hard rooting throughout certain portions of the film. And once again, I think the advertising has something to do with that because the movie's not quite as action packed as it was, as I was led to believe. But at the end of the day, I still got to judge the movie on what it is. A lot of action or no, a little bit of action. And unfortunately, I gotta say, yeah, I'm not gonna give the movie a recommendation, not because it's flat out horrible. It's just like I see what the movie's going for, but it I don't think it executes it's properly executed. Yeah, so that's gonna be my thoughts on the rhythm section. Hey everybody, hope you enjoyed that clip. If you want to see a full episode, I live stream every Thursday night on Facebook right after I see the movie, or you can tune in to the Revenge Online Radio Network every Friday morning at 9 a.m. If you enjoyed the show, please consider contributing to the Patreon, patreon.com/PO Vincent.